Hi fashion lovers, welcome to my channel. Today it is this jacket, alright, sleeveless jacket that I'll be making in this video. So if this is what you're interested in, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We post video every day of different style, how to draft them, cut. So this is the calculation I'm working with. Now I added 3 to my bust waist hip after division, alright, because of the princess that at the front. Okay, so when you divide your bust waist by 4, whatever it gives you, you add your 3 inches to it. That is the minimum for a princess. That's all right, especially for beginners. Now my half length is 16, my blouse length is 25. I added 1.5 inches, okay, for folding, joining, and my nipple to nipple will be needed for the dart, and the bust point definitely for the dart. Now you can see the dress perfectly well. It's a princess dart. Now the kind of wallet pocket on the front is for design. There is no pocket at the front, it's just a design on the front, okay, with the buttons. These are designs, okay, not a real pocket. Now you know how we do it. When you fold your fabric, your pattern, you fold using the highest measurement, which is what I did. All right, now the first thing is, whenever you have button allowance, whenever you have button on a dress, the first thing whenever you're cutting it is to, mark out the button allowance. All right, now I'm going for 1.5 inches for my button allowance. All right, 1.5 inches. Now looking at this dress, both the button side is facing that is used to finish it. All right, it is facing both the button side and the neck, it is facing finishing. All right, so my button allowance, I went for 1.5 inches. You can work with one, you can decide to work with 1.5 or one, whichever one, but have it in mind that the kind of finishing determines your button allowance. For this particular one, it is facing. All right, the button wasn't folded into, the way we fold our button allowance. It wasn't folded, it's facing. So once you've done that, you start marking, you mark your shoulder, mark your armhole depth. Now, because it's a sleeveless dress, I do not want to work with 8 inches. I decide to go for 7 inches rather. Then my bust point, the next is my waist, the last line to mark is my blouse length. All right, now this is a sleeveless jacket. Okay, you can decide to reduce the armhole depth. You can decide to increase it after cutting. All right, but for this video, I decided to, reduce the armhole depth, make it 7 instead of 8. Okay, because the dress is armless, okay, sleeveless. Then another thing is the shoulder, I went for 7.5, not 8. The shoulder is 15. When you divide by 2, it gives you 7.5. Okay, now once you've done that, you mark the same shoulder at the armhole depth, then you connect. Now once you've gotten to this extent, you just mark out your B, all right, which is, sorry, your shoulder, your B, your BP, your waist, and your hip, which is your blouse length. Okay, now this is basically the basics markings. The next, you start marking out your measurements: bust measurement plus allowance, waist measurement plus allowance, hip measurement plus allowance. All right, then you use your rule and connect them. You need the basics. This is basically the basics. All right, you draft out your basic pattern before any other thing. Okay, now we have gotten our basics. Okay, what next? We are to treat the curve the armhole Then we'll move to the dart. But first, you curve your armhole. Okay. Now this is my armhole. You already know the front armhole goes in a little bit by 1/2 inches. Okay, so the hand will be able to move comfortably. Then once you've done that, our nipple to nipple. Alright, you mark your nipple to nipple from the bust point down to the H, which is the blouse length. Once you've marked your nipple to nipple, you connect it. The next thing is you mark your front. Come to the waist. Take 1/2 inches on both sides. That is our dart intake. Waist is usually where our dart intake comes in. Okay, so right there you connect it. You can see how I'm connecting it. You move to the other side, connect to the bust point line. Done. All right, this is more like our waist dart. Now we need our armhole dart, mid armhole dart to connect to the waist dart to give us our princess dart. Okay, now I just measure from the shoulder. I took 5 inches. Then I'll place my rule, my French curve very well to connect to the bust point straight line. Right, this is it. This is our princess dart. Now let's move this closer to our neck part. Now for the neck width, I'm going for 4. The minimum you can go is 3.5. It is 3.5 or 4 inches. Alright. I went for 4. Now what is the depth? For me, I will equally go with 4. So the depth will be 4, the width will be 4. So for the front, I went for 4 by 4. Now remember the armhole, the neck width remains the same even in the back. As a beginner, try always follow this pattern for your neck, curvings. It makes it easy so you don't go out of the line. Okay, as a beginner, you're trying to learn how to, draft your necklines. Go for the square cutting. It always helps. Okay. Now, once this is done, the next is for us to cut so we can cut the back. All right, so I'm starting with the armhole. What I'm trying to do is get the back pattern. You all know how I like to go for my back pattern, the easiest way to avoid, starting over to cut all the rest of it. So I just like to place my front pattern and trace out my back pattern. Now for the back, there's no zip, there's no button at the back. So this button allowance will not be needed. Okay. So I'll just need to fold it in. So I'll be able to place it on my next pattern and get my back pattern. Now I've placed it, then I'm cutting. Now the back can equally have a kind of a princess dart. Alright, but for the case of this particular style, they went for waist dart. Alright, what they use a waist dart at the back. The front is princess dart. Okay, so I've done cutting of the back, but this down part of it needs to be curved. Okay, so I have to curve it with my French curve. Then remember, this is 4 pieces. I'm cutting both the front, the back together, giving it this curve together. All right, then you cut. Okay, Having slanted the down part, the next thing we need to do is on the neck. Now for the back of this dress, the neck depth, I'll be going for 1.5 inches. The highest you can go is 2 inches. Okay, for the back, the highest you can go is 2 inches, but I'm going for 1.5 inches. Okay, then you curve it. So this is what I'm cutting. But this paper has both the front and the back together. Why doing this? All right, so let me unpin it and take it down to hold it firmly. Then I'll cut. Remember, what I'm cutting right now is both the front and the back. I placed the front pattern and back pattern together to cut this, but the neck I'm cutting is useful to only the back. Okay, then once I've cut this, I'll need to slant my shoulder. Now, if for any reason the armhole is small, have it at the back of your mind. After sewing your dart, you can always curve your armhole, make it more deeper. Okay, now I've cut the back. This is my back, and you can see we are dealing with a normal waist dart. That is what the back that is what is on the back. The dart on the back is a normal waist dart, okay, which is when you indicate your waist, you indicate your bust point, just a normal waist dart, and you're good to go. Now that back can equally have a princess dart if you choose to. If you choose to change the back to a princess dart, it is possible. It is your choice. It still gives you the same effect result. Okay, so I'm just marking out the normal waist that will be done on the back. All right, so this is my back. So let me just indicate that this is my back that is done. So we are yet to finish this front. Now the best way to go about this front is cut this dart and sew it. Curve your neckline. All right, it makes it more easy. So let's start. Now I'll be curving, going for the arm dart first. After the dart, I'll go for the curving. You can see the front of this dress has a sharp V. So this is it. This is it. Now you can see the front of this dress has a sharp V at the front. We need to put that V there. Your V can be above the waist, below the waist, under the waist. Anywhere you choose your V to be, it is matter of choice. So you can come down by 1.5 inches if you choose. It can be by the waistline if you choose. It can be above the waistline, whichever one. Now, looking at this dress, the V stops before few inches before, or few inches before the dart. So what I'll do is measure from here. I'll take 1 inches. I don't want the V to get to the dart line, because right with the picture we have, it did not get to the dart line. So now when you place it, you put your rule this way. It should be in a slanted form to give you that sharp V. To that, you're connecting it to the 1.5 inches. Okay. So you can decide to fold the paper to cut this, or you don't fold it. Now, when you fold the paper, you get to indicate. You see what came out. Now, it is easy, you get to indicate. Now, when you place it together, you get to cut out this sharp part. All right. You cut out this sharp part to give you the V. Okay, place it together, the button allowance, make sure they are even. All right, if it is not giving you this V, you make it more sharper, is your choice. Okay, now having gotten your V, let's place the princess that the way it should be. We are yet to cut the neckline, remember, the front neckline. We did the cutting of the back neckline, but we did not cut the front. We are yet to cut the front. So after this, placing this, I'll need to fold back again and cut the neckline of the front. Right, I went for 4 inches because the looking at the style, the neck was below the neck bone. And you know our neck bone is 3 inches already. Below it, that is why I went for 4 for comfortability. Now placing it this way, we see our V, our princess dart by the side. So let's just place them all together. Now, what of the finishing of this dress? I said it earlier, the finishing, it is facing. You finish this dress with facing, but that does not mean you cannot try other way of finishing it. But for this particular dress on the picture, it is facing that they use to finish it. On the bottom part, on the neck. Now on the down side, they did folding, about 1 inches folding on the down part. They weaved and folded it. Okay, so for a better finishing, it is better you go with facing, especially for the neck, for the button part of it, the neck to give you a good finishing. And you know, there will be a button, so you put your button. This is one of the easiest jacket you can make for yourself. This is more like a corporate jacket. So as a beginner, try this out.